Good morning. Today is Monday, August 18, 2025. Welcome to News Point for the 5 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. I am Oliver McIntosh presenting on today's presentation of the program. In the headlines, President Joseph Boakai commissions Liberia's 27 Chief Justice Yami Wese. He acknowledges officials of his administration to show exemplary leadership in the discharge of their duties. Moba Molu announces December 17, 2025 as a new date for a mass demonstration after government alleged failure to respond to their July 17 Enough is Enough petition. Political leader of the opposition Citizens Movement for Change, Musa Bility, describes the legislature as the home of corrupt leaders, vows not to recontest for the representative seat. And away from home, prominent Sudanese human rights group accuses the country's army and security forces of torturing people to death and operating execution chambers. These news bulletins post or package on today's presentation of the program. But first, Stephen Talu is
Morning, Oliver, and good morning, Liberians. President Joseph Boakai has admonished officials of his administration to show exemplary leadership in the discharge of their duties. Speaking over the weekend during the commissioning ceremony of the Chief Justice, the Destiny Yamigbesi, and other officials from the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, President Joseph Boakai said the judiciary plays a major role in the country's democracy. He urged the Justice Gbesi to exhibit exemplary leadership in handing the justice Liberia's law does stress the need for public servants to declare their assets. The Liberian leader also described the nation ambassador as the face of the country, urging a newly appointed ambassador to Nigeria, John Balut, to promote Liberia's image to the global community. Meanwhile, the 27th Chief Justice of Liberia, Yami Gbese, has termed his commissioning as a significant milestone for him, considering his appointment as predestinated by God. He pledged his overwhelming support to the Boakai administration, noting that the rule of law complement of the arrest general will be achieved through collective effort. The chairperson of the Solidarity and Trust for a New Day, Moloba Malu, has announced December 17, 2025 as a new date set for a mass demonstration after the government allegedly refused to respond to its July 17 Enough is Enough petition. Speaking at a press conference in Monrovia on Sunday, August 17, Moro disclosed that the human rights violation documented in a United States report mounting economic hardship among others are reasons why the group has announced a new day for its mass protest. He added that the December 17, 2025 mass protest will see citizens converging at the perimeter of the Capitol building in Monrovia, noting that the institution has established the Citizens Engagement Board consisting of 15 members with the aim of recruiting youth for market women, traditional leaders, security actors, and communities for the mass protest. The chairperson of Stand has meanwhile frowned on President Joseph Boakai for spending thousands of United States dollars to take over 23 delegates sent to Tokyo, Japan on the Expo 2025 summit. He further accused the president of neglecting the economy, health, and education sectors, but instead using the country money to travel abroad with a large dedication. Molu is also demanding the dismissal of Police Inspector Gregory Kuma, citing the U.S. Human Rights Report of Continuous Human Rights Violations 2024 in Liberia. The political leader of the opposition Citizens Movement for Change, Musa Ability, has described the legislature as the home of corrupt leaders. Speaking over the weekend in an interview with Spoon TV, Blade revealed that he will not contest the Nima County District number 7 representative seat, adding that the legislature is responsible for the destruction of the country. According to Blade, his initial intent was to carry change to the legislature, something he said led to him reaching out to the Congress for Democratic Change for possible collaboration in the House of Representatives. He, however, disclosed that the CDC rejected said proposal. He also alleged that the Unity Party, through Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn, convinced him to collaborate for the speakership election, assuring him of the UP's support for the deputy speaker position. Meanwhile, Representative Bility added that the bad system of the legislature cannot be fought within, revealing that the CMC will regret all corrupt individuals to be removed from the legislature in 2029. Government of Liberia to the Ministry of Education joined dignitaries at the Peace Cup swearing ceremony marking the formal induction of a new cohort of Peace Corps volunteers. Volunteers will serve in communities across Liberia, supporting national efforts in education and health. The ceremony, a long-standing Peace Corps transition, officially marks their transition from trainees to full flag volunteers. The Peace Corps first arrived in Liberia in 1962, launching initiatives in education, health, and rural development. Speaking during the swearing in ceremony at the ministerial complex in Congotown Friday, President Joseph Numa Boaka commended the Peace Corps for its lasting contribution and expressed appreciation to the U.S. government for its continuous support. Also speaking during the ceremony, Education Minister Dr. Jasu Jela Lore, the Peace Corps for its enduring service, emphasizing the importance of aligning efforts with the government's arrest agenda, which prioritizes quality, equity, and innovation in education. Meanwhile, Joseph Zandroni, U.S. Ambassador Shaji Dalfe, and former Peace Corps volunteer highlighted the organization's role as a symbol of friendship and mutual respect. The Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System, Eugene Falcon, has accused the former Chief Executive Officer of a Spoon Network, a Staton with a Spoon, of destroying the image and reputation of the ANC political leader, Elizana Cummins. Speaking via a Facebook page broadcast during the weekend, the LBS boss revealed that Staton Witherspoon is the responsible is one responsible for the unsuccessful political struggle of the alternative National Congress political leader, noting that Statum does not have the ability to restructure the political atmosphere over Elizabeth Cummins. The LBS Director General comment came after Freedom FM during the weekend did a Facebook post indicating that they are expected to collaborate with Spoon TV with the aim of helping to promote the agenda of a former President George Mane Weah. The Press Union of Liberia has alarmed over why it appears to be a coordinated legal campaign aimed at harassing, intimidating, and silencing journalists in Rivers says. The union said it detects in the strongest term the calculated detention and ongoing judicial prosecution of journalists. OPA as Iwe Opa Duo and Methuselah Gain, describing it as a blatant abuse of judicial authority. In the statement, the PUA demanded that Associate Magistrate Diba Zuku Diba of the Yabata Magisterial Court and both Associate Magistrate Dixon Yeager and Stapedial Magistrate Coston Fleming of the Sisters City Magisterial Court immediately seized all forms of harassment and unlawful detention of the two journalists. According to the PUL, since Wednesday, 13 August 2025, without any form of a legal representation, the journalists have been subjected to two separate but closest comparable arrest warrants and sent to jail. The first warrant issued by Magistrate Diba charges them with criminal contempt of court for alleged publishing false, misleading, and unfounded information on social media that questioned the integrity of the Yaba Town Magistrates Court. The reporting in question linked the court to alleged bribery in the release of police officer Ojuku Weeks, who it had been reported was arrested by the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency for possession of narcotics. A journalist acknowledged that the name of police officer Ojuku in the reporting was based on accounts of their sources, but a retraction was made once it became clear the arrested drug suspect was Maurice Doe. Instead, period President Julius Kanumba expressed outright over what he described as a strategically orchestrated attack on the Presbyterian network of judicial and state actors in Riverside County. The PUA further alarmed about reports that the Sisters of Mysterious Court imposed excessive bill of 60,000 Liberian dollars on each journalist, a punitive measure in a county where poverty is widespread. And away from Liberia, a prominent Sudanese human rights group has accused the country's army and security forces of torturing people to death and operating execution chambers. The emergency lawyers group said it had documented hundreds of arrests in the capital, Khartoum. It said that in the worst cases, some captives are later being found dead with evidence of torture. The Sudanese army recaptured the city from the paramilitary rapid support forces in March, against which it is fighting a bitter civil war that has killed tens of thousands in 2 years. The army did not respond to BBC's request for comment on Sunday. Blaze News.
Many thanks to Stephen Taludet for the news bulletin. It's a regular featured on News Point for the 5 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. On today's edition, stories we're following this morning, President Joseph Boakai commissions Liberia's 27th Chief Justice Yami Wese as he acknowledges officials of his administration to show exemplary leadership in the discharge of their duties. Mobile Molu announces December 17, 2025 as a new date for a mass demonstration after government alleged failure to respond to their July 17 enough is enough petition. Political leader of the opposition Citizens Movement for Change, Musa Bedete, describes the legislature as the home of corrupt leaders, vows not to recontest for the representative seat, and away from whom prominent Sudanese human rights group accuses the country's army and security forces of torturing people to death and operating execution chambers. Still ahead, the voices of our newsmakers post our package onto this presentation of the program. We'll take our first story. But let's go for this break. We'll come back. Voices of our newsmakers will be heard. Thanks for rejoining us. We take on our first story. The political leader of the opposition Citizen Movement for Change, Musa Bedete, has described the legislature as the home of corrupt leaders. Speaking over the weekend in an interview with Spoon TV, Ability revealed that he will not contest the Nima County District 7 representative seat, adding that the legislature is responsible for the destruction of the country. According to Ability, his initial intent was to carry change to the legislature, something he said led to him reaching out to the Congress for democratic change for possible collaboration in the House of Representatives. He, however, disclosed that the CDC rejected said proposal.
If you are facing something like that, that's not something that I want to keep fight it. That system cannot be fought from within. It has to be turned on its head. Everyone that is responsible for what is happening to Liberian people in that place will be particularly targeted and removed by the CMC in the 2029 election, and that we I will not have the opportunity to do that if I sit here insidely that I want to be a representative. So the revolution is not just on the presidency, it is directed at specific individuals that we know that don't need to be in the house so that the Liberian people can have the opportunity to change the country. So having knowing that the decision of not going there has been made. What I do as a politician, I believe it's going to be defined in the next couple of years. I will know whether my actions, my activities have resonated. I will not bury my hair in the sand, but I will know whether my activities and other things would have resonated with Liberian people enough to have the confidence to say where you are right now. I think we can take you as candidate of the CMC. Like I said, Stanton, now that we have put aside the issue of the House of Representatives, if I resonate with Liberian people in the next 2 years, the CMC convention is not in 2 years. So if I resonate with the Liberian people, which I will, then definitely I will put myself up as a candidate for the CMC, Richard.
Meanwhile, Representative Bility added that the bad system at the legislature cannot be fought within, revealing that the CMC will target all corrupt individuals to be removed from the legislature in 2029.
Look, I've made two decisions. One of them, I have discounted the legislature. It's a menace to our country as it is. It is not the path that I want to take, where I want to go. Well, I am now political leader, short circuit that process. I've discounted the legislature. It is not a place to bunch of corrupt leaders. They are the ones that destroyed this country, and I don't have a place among them. Actually, my goal is to make sure. I came in that building. I invested a lot of time and energy in becoming a representative. I wanted to bring change. I ran first. The CMC endorsed the CDC in the second one, and after the CDC lost the election, I approached the CDC and said, "Hey, can we form a team? Can we form a team so that we can go and have an agenda at the legislature?" The CDC, did not accept that. So I decided to go my way, and my brother from Lima County, the vice president elect at the time, approached me that he has been sent by the president elect that I should join the Unity Party team to go to legislature, and that I should allow them to have the speaker, and then we should join forces. I joined them. Of course, that story is for another day. They plotted against me. I'm on the very Unity Party group. They plotted against me, brought some people, and asked those people to vote for Thomas Fad instead of voting for me. And I lost that election. After the Kofa saga, those who run the legislature now, knowing where I stand on the block of the Liberian, have destroyed that place for the last 15 or so years, got together to determine that I should not be deputy speaker or speaker of the house. And they plotted well. And among the plot, the money, the budget money that was laid aside, and that's coming up in the next few days. The national budget that was approved and $50,000 was placed in there for every lawmaker to carry to their people in their district, was released to the members of the House of Representatives as a payback for the election that I lost to Richard. Look, I've made two decisions. One of them, I have discounted the legislature. It's a menace to our country as it is. It is not the path that I want to take, where I want to go. Well, I am now political leader this year.
That's the voice of the political leader of the opposition Citizens Movement for Change, Musa Bility. They're describing the legislature as the home of corrupt leaders. President Joseph Boakai has acknowledged officials of his administration to show exemplary leadership in the discharge of their duties. Speaking over the weekend during the commissioning ceremony of the Chief Justice Destiny Yami Wisit and other officials from the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, President Boakai said the judiciary plays a major role in the country's democracy. He urged Justice Wisit to exhibit exemplary leadership in honoring Liberia's law, stressing the need for public servants to declare their assets.
fully with a code of conduct. We should all understand that public trust the judiciary and the next. To change that, the judiciary must show what exemplary service looks like, not only the decision handed down, also in the way in which it conducts custodians of the law. So our ambassadors, in the face of Liberia, brought our country is being re-imaged and reimagined also as repositioned. And we are taking rightful place in the community. Your role is especially crucial as we begin a historic two-year term in the United Nations Security Council. This is your moment to show that Liberia, world leader, can lead with vision and you are called excellence for a reason. Where the title will represent us with dignity and also with your mission is not just about attending diplomatic events, it is about delivering results, attracting investment in tourism, building partnerships, and encouraging in the Liberian areas for us to be heard in ways that benefit our people. To the commissioners of the telecommunication authority, you are key players in ensuring that Liberia does not miss out on the opportunities of the digital age. Your work must drive innovation, economic, and opportunities for young people to thrive in a knowledge-based economy. We must be responsible to the public, regulate the purpose, and ensure that the benefits of technology reach every corner. As declared to all officials of our government, public service is not an entitlement. That's all of it is a trust, a responsibility to discipline, and the Liberian people are working. And they have every right to informants, accountability, and I know there are a lot of people outside there who
Meanwhile, the 27th Chief Justice of Liberia, Yami Bese, had termed his commissionering as a significant milestone for him, considering his appointment as predestinated by God. He pledged his overwhelmingly support to the Bwakako administration, noting that the rule of law component of the arrest agenda will be achieved through collective effort.
Today marks a significant milestone in my life and the history of our country. I stand before you honored and humbled as the 27th Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. I am the man of faith, so I say that my appointment is highest seat of honor for the judiciary in this country for predestined. For his grace bestowed upon me, I am very grateful. Our supplication to him, pray that he takes control, be real justice. Grant me wisdom, positive in my entire 4 year term. It is said that our good God works through people. This is so true. The president, you so kind listening to the word of God, what I prefer. I have known you all the time to be a man found in sense of justice. The judiciary is a fight over justice and rule of law. By choosing me, you have said to me in our second term that you trust me. This segment of your government arrest agenda relating to the rule of law. Pledge to faithfully serve our nation and justify fulfilling your reforms. I therefore see this occasion today as a reaffirmation of our collective commitment to upholding the rule of law and a testament to the enduring strength and resilience of our democracy. I also thank members of the legislature, the Liberian Senate, for confirming me on our democratic system to play their role, provide check and balance as enshrined. Look, you know the directions of the questions, comments in my confirmation here. Most of which pointed to the wide reforms within the judicial system of Liberia.
That's the voice of Yami Bese there speaking. SR activist Martin Colley has strongly criticized President Joseph Boakai for carrying about 23-man delegation to attend the 9th Toko International Conference on African Development and Expo 2025 in Japan. On Saturday, President Joseph Boakai departed Liberia to attend the 9th Togo International Conference on African Development scheduled for August 16 to August 23, 2025 in Japan. The Expo 2025 Osaka, also in Japan. However, speaking on a local radio station during the weekend, Martin Colley said President Joseph Boakai traveling with over 23 persons on a single trip is a public waste and does not support aid, setting to total cost at over 100,768 United States dollars.
Basically, I'm just concerned about the latest decision of the president to have traveled with at least 23 delegates to the TICAD line in Japan. You seem to be very crystal clear. Let's call spade a spade. So I believe strongly that the president on this decision has proceeded wrongly. It is a betrayal of public trust, and we call on him to reverse the decision. The decision was not reversed. At least 23 people are going to Japan. The question is for what? That summit is a trade and expo summit. We don't need almost 40 people there, Mr. President. Why are we carrying almost 40 people on one basis? What's the economic rationale? What's the legal rationale? So let's start with the legal rationale. The first thing is a violation. The decision of the president to have traveled with at least 23 people, excluding his security, press, and attendance staff, is a violation of the very law he adopted and passed in January of 2025. Let's go to the revised travel ordinance law of Liberia 2025. Rule number 3 and rule number 4. Those rules are clearly stated. They are succinct. They are succinct. On the government phone trip, according to rule number 3, you can travel with more than 5 people. If you have the conference app, then you can travel with more than 7 people. The law was adopted by the cabinet under the presidency of Joseph Yuma Boakai, specifically on the 2nd of January 2025. Is this not a violation of the very law that was adopted and passed by the executive in order to cut down costs and public waste? So why are we violating the very law we adopted and passed, Mr. President? And this is a fundamental legal question that the president is yet to answer. Even though those of us who supported him called on him to reverse the decision, he still insisted. This is wrong precedent, Mr. President. Not listening to people who supported you to become president is a dangerous precedent that will undermine your very government, because government is about the people. Hundreds of university faculty members were crying. They haven't taken pay for 8 months. Thousands of volunteer teachers are still not on payroll, including health workers. Even people who are on payroll, they are working poor. They are earning 150 and less. In that kind of economy, why are we not considering the crowd, being the misery and agony of our? Why are we wasting public resources?
That's the voice of Martin Colley there strongly criticizing President Joseph Boakai for carrying about 23 delegations to attend the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development and Expo 2025 in Japan. The National Office of the West African Examination Council (WAEC) has released provisional results of the senior high school national test administered in Liberia. WAEC registrar De Boto disclosed that the 822 candidates passed at least 5 subjects, including English and mathematics, with credit, while 28,576 passed at least 5 subjects, including English and mathematics, with N and grade. According to Boto, 37,081 students passed at least 4 subjects, including English, maths, and at the same time, 42,970 passed at least 3 subjects, including English and mathematics, while results for 1,944 candidates have been withheld due to suspected examination malpractice.
For this exam, when you pass a single subject, we'll see the certificate. So for performance, the table below provides the performance of candidates for WASC for school candidates 2025, and we are giving you 8 per subject. This table clearly says that our candidates found biology to be challenging. Of the 51,700 candidates that sat the exam, only 27.45% passed biology. Of the 48,062 candidates that sat this exam, 87.41% of the candidates pass history. We have only 4 subjects. History that had 87%, chemistry, interestingly, 54.31, geography 62.18, and literature of English to 1.48. The candidates are struggling with mathematics and English language. Yes, it is true that 58% of them pass in English and 54% pass in mathematics, but we all know that these two subjects are major subjects. Performance as a pass rate in 5 subjects and above. Of the 51,719 candidates who came in for this exam, 1.59% of them passed clearly, clean pass. 822 candidates were successful in passing in a minimum. I'm not saying they pass only 5 subjects, some pass more than 5 subjects, or look at least minimum 5 subjects. And I also want to highlight that this is the highest number that we have received, we have recorded since we started giving WAS, or the number of candidates that pass in a minimum of 5 subjects with credit, including English and mathematics. The number of candidates that pass any 5 subjects, mathematics, English, doesn't necessarily have to be more 8. Then the number jumped to 28,576. Passing any 4 subjects, you have 37,081 candidates with a pass rate of 71%. And 3 subjects, you have 83.08%. You see, you have more people passing at least 5 subjects. So I think that's good for us. So let's look at the performance per county for what is 93.38%. Those who will be receiving certificates. I think Russia has the least number of candidates, 126, and 125 sat, and all 125 at least passed, asking at least a subject on the same. But we are pleased to inform the public that we have printed all certificates up to 2023, and then we have the blank certificates for 2024, and this year's certificate coming in country in October. But early next year, certificate should not be any issue again. For this exam,
That's the voice of the head of WAEC, Deboto, there speaking at this time. We now go to Stephen Talu. This time around, he comes in with the passion of last post. Stephen, good morning.
Thanks, the Liberia Football Association on Saturday wrapped up a 2-day training in Harper and Plebo, Maryland County. Over 65 participants from clubs joined the women's club last season, and CMS Workshop funded by FIFA through the Women's Football Development Program. Joy Freeman LFA's competitions and club last season manager led these sessions. Away from Liberia in Africa now, precisely Kenya's head coach Benny McCarthy says he is under no pressure to make a history with Kenya and is only focused on doing his best to lead the team to success in every game. The tactician has already made great strides, leading the Hambari Stars to its first ever quarterfinal appearance in their debut at the African Nations Championship. Speaking to the Comsia.net on whether he thinks he can make more history if Kenya go all the way to the final. McCarthy is a UEFA Champions League winner with AFC Porto. As a player says, he only wants to do well, and if the records and history follow him, then why not? Last year from the European scene, sometimes as a pundit. This is from BBC's columnist Danny Murphy. Sometimes as a pundit, you can still be reality positive about a team's performance even when they lose. And Manchester United, once we defeated by Arsenal, is a good example. After conceding a silly early goal that you ultimately proved decisive. United show on Sunday that their system works and also demonstrated the difference that new signings will make to it. And that's the essence of sports this morning, Oliver.
Thanks to Stephen Talu there for the passion of last post in this regular feature, on this point. Still at the citizen movement for change, political leader Musa Birite, the political leader of the citizen movement for change, says he will not be seeking re-election to the representative seat in District 7 Nema County, but will instead contest for the presidency in 2029. Representative Musa Birite added that he will campaign and run against former President George Weah and President Joseph Boakai or Jeremiah Cohn. After all, his mother and father are not living to contest for any presidential position. Representative Birite made the disclosure when he appeared on Spoon Talk show in Monrovia during the weekend.
I have told you that I'm not going to carry. I'm not going to run for the House of Representatives. And that I have a vision. I thought I could achieve my vision through people. And I realized that the way our system looks, you have to lead your own vision. So I formed the citizen movement for change. If you look at the history of people who are coming in that party, they are strong-willed people who are disgruntled with the system now. The two big party in this country have been tried and tested. Going back to them is what I refer to a calculated race. LeBron will not take that. LeBron will not take it. Give CMC 1 year. The citizen movement for change will have a candidate on the presidential ballot in 2021. I will not only run against, I will campaign against it. Anybody who is standing in the way of the CMC, I will fight that person. I have a vision. CMC has a vision. That vision will not be traded. There will be no time that the CMC will sit on a table to trade the presidential ticket. No way. That vision will not be sold. It is not for sale. It is not for friendship. And definitely, it is not to make Unity Party to continue to plunder our country. I don't play with my commitment to people. And I make commitment to very serious people who say, you telling us to come, to not take us in a bundle and take us somewhere in the middle of the game. That commitment has been made. I've made that commitment to my family. I made that commitment with people, with my wife sitting down, my children sitting down. That commitment will not change, my brother. The opposition will collaborate. I am the main architect of that. But come 2029, when the Election Commission published the list of candidates, the CMC candidate will be there with this son. But my party has been officially, this party will have a candidate. And whoever is on the other side, that person will have to deal with this party. Whether it is George Manawia, whether it is Jeremiah Kuhn, whether it's Joseph Walker, I don't care. This party will face them. And I make this commitment to the people of Liberia that the CMC is, look, the Liberian people will have no one to blame if they go back to something that they have tried before. And if their conclusion is that that thing didn't work, then they should choose something else. We know they will not choose the Unity Party. They will have to make a choice between the other party and the CDC. If the CDC says, yeah, was good for them, my mom is not living, my pa is not living. Anybody that run against me or run against the president, I have told you that I'm not.
Meanwhile, Representative Bility has been analyzing the failures and successes of the CDC-led administration and the Unity Party-led government. According to Representative Bility, the failure of the CDC-led government was the appointment of a lot of inexperienced people, while the Unity Party lacks respect for the rule of law.
The worst things in the real government is that they employ too many inexperienced people. The standard for people getting jobs were very low. They affected output. That's something that I would never repeat. People have to be vetted, their background vetted, and they could have helped the president, who himself was new to politics, and also the accountability in the real government was very low. They never audited any agencies and publicly took action on it. I think that we should have a law that every 2 years, all government agencies would have been audited. Those two things in the real government are found to be, I will never repeat. The thing that I will repeat after we are, even though they didn't go too much in it, which was the community roles. Those were bad roles that nobody could go there, and they spent resources in getting those people. The Nuclear project, they water almost carry the people, and they work with the World Bank. The control over drug and narcotics was bad. For the Unity Party government, a very painful experience. This government has everything, but they have no respect for the rule of law. The fact that the president, the speaker, and the pro tem refuse to go there because that court refused to disregard the law of our country. The Unity Party, no respect for rule of law. The thing that makes the rule of law issue important to me is that it brings us to the tip of violence. The moment we realize that going to court is for nothing, we begin to resort to other means to protect ourselves or to foster our rights, and that is dangerous. Last but not least, contract. The next contract that this government was killing itself for to fight. You see them modifying this contract even with worse terms and conditions, and moving with it. And then taking managing directors, commissioners, and then jumping all over on Facebook and internet, making themselves to be the mouthpiece of government. When there are people that are paid to do that work, and you tell you, under our government, that would never happen. The worst.
That's the voice of the political leader of the Citizens Movement for Change, Musa Bility, there disclosing that he would not seek re-election to the representative seat in District 7 Nima County, but will instead contest for the presidency in 2029. The chairperson of the Solidarity and Trust for a New Day, Moba Molu, has announced December 17, 2025, as a new date set for a mass demonstration after the government allegedly refused to respond to its July 17 Enough is Enough petition. Speaking at a press conference in Monrovia on Sunday, August 17, Molu disclosed that the human rights violation documented in the United States report, mounting economic hardship, among others, are reasons why the group has announced a new date for its mass protest. He added that the December 17, 2025 mass protest will see citizens conversion at the Capitol building in Monrovia, noting that the institution has established citizens engagement board consisting of 15 members with the aim of recruiting youth, market women, additional leaders, security actors, and communities for the mass protest.
Consider the realities on the ground today. While hospitals are in collapse, prices are climbing, and citizens struggling to survive, the president has reportedly spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on a 23 to 40 man person delegation to Japan. This is the same leader who once condemned wasteful foreign travel. And while Liberians are suffering, the Joseph Boycott administration indulges in reckless expenditures overseas, returning with no jobs, no trade, and no meaningful investment for the country or our business environment. President Walker's refusal to use his retirement job to prioritize the needs of the people leads us to agree with the U.S. State Department report, which confirms that there have been no significant changes in the first 1 year of the Joseph Walker-led administration, thus suggesting that Liberia remains trapped in a cycle of waste, arrogance, and disregard for the Liberian people. The report also singles out the Liberian National Police under Gregory Como for grave human rights violations, which is why we at STEM have been demanding the immediate dismissal of Mr. Como to restore credibility and public trust in the LNP as a law enforcement body. We all agree that under Walker's leadership, impunity is growing, abuse is rising, and ordinary Liberian citizens remain unprotected. Violations are fast spreading everywhere, and these violations, which are revealed by the U.S. State Department reports, include extrajudicial killings, arbitrary arrests, prolonged detentions without trial, intimidation and censorship of the free press, torture, inhumane treatment, rampant gender-based violence, female genital mutilation, and systematic discrimination against the girl child. These actions violate Chapter 6 or Article 6 and 7 of the ICCPR, Articles 4, 5, 6, and 9 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and Articles 11, 15, and 20 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia.
That's the voice of the Solidarity and Trust for a New Day Chairman Moba Molu speaking. With that, we come to the end of today's edition of News Point. It has been a production of the News and Current Affairs Department of the Blaze Communications Network Incorporated. President Joseph Boakai commissions Liberia's 27th Chief Justice Yami Bwesi as he acknowledges officials of his administration to show exemplary leadership in the discharge of their duties. Moba Molu announces December 17, 2025 as a new date for a mass demonstration after government alleged failure to respond to their July 17 Enough is Enough petition. political leader of the opposition Citizens Movement for Change, Musa Bedete, describes the legislature as the home of corrupt leaders, vows not to recontest for the representative seat. And away from home, prominent Sudanese human rights group accuses the country's army and security forces of torturing people to death and operating execution chambers. I want to say thanks to all of you for your listening room. Many thanks to Stephen Talu who was here with the news bulletin and the passion of last post. Thanks to Clifton Rennie, DJ Maturity, who sat at control and handled the technical aspect of the program. From behalf of the entire production team here at Blaze Communications Network Incorporated and Oliver Mack.